on the Fringe with Dan Radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. This is one of those shows where I couldn't wait. It's actually early. I kind of got to the end of the news, though. If I would have kept waiting, more will come in, and more is going to come in. But I couldn't wait. So many huge things are happening. Obviously, the Pope passing away at 88. That's extraordinary. But why now? I don't feel like a lot of these things happened by accident. Personally, I still question whether or not he literally did, in fact, make it out of the hospital. We know there's a number of people that have played him in the past. One of them is actually in a James Bond movie, believe it or not. One of the actors that played him before looked just like the dude. It's crazy. So we got a lot of crazy going on in that regards. Also got this weird thing going on with Signal, and I think we're finding the leak is what I think is happening. That's huge. It's amazing. Also, the Democrats destroying themselves right now. It's fascinating. So, again, is that possibly what the smoke screen's for? Because the Democrats look horrible with what's happening. They're also completely going to lose. We've got an update on the story in El Salvador, and that's going to mess things up quite a bit for these pesky little Dems that are going to fly down there and try to make a spectacle about this. We've got so much weird stuff happening. It is literally playing out how it's supposed to. The Democrats are literally destroying themselves. We're watching it happen. I mean, anybody that's running around calling themselves a Democrat at this point, seriously, that's got to be scary to say it out loud. It's just got to be. Which, for most of them being virtue signalers and all that kind of stuff, they probably don't want to admit it right now. Think about how things have changed. And again, some people are just losing their minds. We're seeing that play out as well. So, a lot going on. I think hopefully it won't be the longest show I do. It's usually a death knell when I say it. Let's get into it. Donald Trump truth this out. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but rather by those who watch them without doing anything to stop them. Nowadays, it'd be the equivalent of pulling out your camera and filming it, rather than putting an end to it. That's where we are in the world right now. There are sideliners, and there are those that are actually involved. And it's funny how I think a lot of the people that complain the most are friends on the sideline. Yeah, it's just crazy how it's playing out. But this is the time. Things are happening, especially stock market's a mess today. Price of gold went up a bunch today. And I'm not trying to sell you on it right now, folks. I'm just trying to pat myself on the back and just feel really good that I know I led a bunch of people in the right direction. That's all. I am literally stoked that was something I was able to help with. There are a bunch of people that are protected with what's going on right now in a major way and actually making money. That's the funny part. Trump is very, very directly involved in everything that's happening right now. Of course, he was kind enough to say some wonderful words about the Pope, and he's flying all the flags at half-staff. We'll get there in a sec. Pope Francis died, of course, the Vatican says. Became the Pope in 2013, and he has since passed away. I think we've got, this story, I believe. Oh, this is Trump talking about it. Was this the one that talks about the dude that's now in charge? No, this is a funnier story. But yeah, there's, I forget the gentleman that's in charge now. I thought I had that story up. But yeah, we are, here it is. Cardinal Kevin Farrell. He is going to head the Vatican while they go into this process. Now, again, I don't know. There was question around the prophecy of the popes. And the question that really popped up was there's this long list of popes. They all have these weird, Latin-y names. And I don't know if these are names these guys choose, secretly, or if they're how they're chosen. I don't know where that name came from, but apparently everybody fell into it the way they were supposed to. So they always showed that the current pope the one we had just moments ago, that he was the last pope. But what that exactly means was always confusing. And there was this thought process that there was supposed to be Peter, the final pope, that was finally the one that was either A, going to reign in during the actual collapse of the church, which I would prefer to see that not happen, or the actual rebuilding of the church in the way it was always supposed to actually be, and then finally releasing some of the secrets. They also have essentially a Vatican disclosure. That could very well be coming. And in fact, there is a gentleman we're going to talk about. He's on the thumbnail. that could vary. I mean, he's not allowed to be, but as Tory says, noted, not to say said, Tory said, but wouldn't that be an amazing person to consider as the Pope? The dude would be stellar. He's fought against child trafficking. He's fought against all the horrible things that were happening within the church. That's why he got excommunicated, because the Pope was pissed at him. Now that the Pope is dead, I don't know. Are we at a time for a new church? Who knows? We don't know yet. We're going to find out. A lot of things are going to become apparent over the next number of days, especially why the smokescreen, if at all. Maybe this was just beautiful timing. We'll see.
I just signed an executive order putting the flags of our country, all of them, all federal flags and state flags, at half-mast in honor of Pope Francis. So he was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world, and it's an honor to do that.
I don't know why, but there's this weird part of me that thinks it would be hysterically funny. And it wouldn't be. It would be horrific. But damn, it'd be funny if Trump, just like after he said his little thing, just turned and punched that bunny right in the face. I don't know why that seems funny to me, but anywho, shouldn't do that. Don't do that, children. I am a professional. So the left has decided now, it's kind of funny, I think this is hilarious, frankly, that since J.D. Vance went and paid homage to the Vatican, the Pope, got to meet him for a short period of time, one of the last people to get to see him when it comes to the United States, and then suddenly he dies. There was a fun little meme running around of showing J.D. Vance holding a pillow while the Pope was in bed. Kind of funny, little meme. But yeah, anyway, a lot of people are basically saying that J.D. Vance killed the Pope. That's pretty groovy. Good for you, J.D. Vance. Well done. So yeah, this is the one who's actually leading. Okay, cool. We already mentioned that. I knew I had a story in here somewhere. Dadgummit. Now, Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, he was excommunicated by Pope Francis after daring to publicly reject the Pope's authority and denounce the direction of the modern church. His excommunication stripped him of any eligibility to become the next pope, cutting him off entirely from church leadership. Vigano spoke out against global child trafficking networks, directly naming powerful figures like Hillary Clinton and John Podesta. He went further, exposing how Jeffrey Epstein ran a Mossad-backed blackmail operation on his private island, collecting damning evidence of elites engaging in ritual abuse of children. Imagine this man leading the Catholic Church. And again, it's that type of person, it's that level of pontiff Trump, if you will, that you would need to actually turn the church around. And that concept of Peter, the Rock, would be fitting. Now, again, there's a lot of things that have to be disclosed that the church has, but I mean, getting the proper leadership in place is a step in the right direction. Otherwise, I don't believe the Catholic Church will survive. I think there's many out there that dislike Catholic Church in general, which is fine. I wouldn't even disagree with you half the time. And so many people, I think, want it to fall and collapse, and maybe that is the best thing for the world. I was brought up that way, but I stepped away from the church because people I knew, one kid I knew got AIDS, actually, from one of the priests who ended up finally getting arrested, by the way. They finally arrested him, which is pretty cool. Actually was a very famous dude, too. Wealthy as well. Interesting. He didn't take the vow of poverty. So again, a lot of strange stuff that I've experienced, not necessarily personally, at least in that regard, but friends close to me, definitely. And, as funny as a lot of things that we considered normal in hindsight, you look back and you're like, oh yeah, these dudes were total pedophiles. Total pedophiles. So, yeah, it's frustrating, right? Like a lot of people are like, well, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like, I don't think you should put the baby in that particular set bathwater or that bath. Don't do that. Wash your baby somewhere else because that bathwater is going to get drained and your baby's going to get sucked down. I mean, there's just no way around it. No pun intended, actually. That came out accidentally. Davos meeting founder Klaus Schwab steps down as the World Economic Forum chair. I thought it was interesting, the timing of that. Part of me wonders, because again, we know the three prongs of the way the deep state was controlling was via the Vatican for spirituality, the Washington, D.C. for military, and of course, London for financial. Pope passes, and one of the most evil individuals on this planet operating, trying to destroy literally anything that is a resemblance of people having power over their own lives, essentially, or service to others. He's as a service to self individual, he certainly wants a service to other people servicing him. But interesting that he stepped down on the same day. Again, could just be coincidence, right? And again, I'm not as firm on there's no such thing as coincidence. I mean, I believe that, believe me. But I do think we manufacture coincidences sometimes too. I've watched people make like steps of logic to get to the coincidence, and it's like, that's not a coincidence anymore. You're actually just making shit up. So whatever the case is, right? I don't care. Like, it really doesn't matter. Now, something else that is striking me as interesting. There's so many stories today that are just like, this is so weird, right? So Delta Airlines flight, they're actually, pumping these people out of there. Let's bring this over. That's not what I wanted to do. And then I don't want it running twice, but I am anyways. So yeah, they evacuated. Now the reason they evacuated is because there was a fire, which we happened to have here. So here's this, I think, showing the fire. Now this is fantastic to me on numerous levels. I talked about this recently. It's Orlando International Airport, which, it's close to water, I think. If I remember where Orlando is roughly. Apparently there's a giant lake in Florida, too, that I was totally unaware of. But I've learned, and that's fantastic. That was for all my friends that laughed at me when I was being an idiot that day. And I still like to be humbled. Life frequently humbles me. But yeah, the engine caught fire. Now, I'm just having fun. I don't know why. I'm in a speculative conspiracy mood. All right, but a lot of people talk about energy weapons and stuff like that. Like this is a perfect place for an energy weapon, especially by the good guys. And I'm gonna qualify that. But one, like I said, it's close to water, which means this thing could be flying off the coast, whatever this laser shooting thing. And that wouldn't be a laser per se. What it would be something that would be invisible, by the way. Most people expect to see a beam because we've seen pictures of the wildfires where it looked like there was a beam coming down. Maybe there is sometimes, maybe there doesn't need to be. But with microwave technology, microwaves are invisible. And microwaves, the way they affect metal is pretty crazy. So if you aimed a microwave weapon at an engine, of a commercial aircraft while it was spinning up or while it was already on, well, you could very easily catch it on fire. I mean, you could. I'm not saying that's what happened. Now, what's also interesting, and this is the thing I talked about recently, is this is an Airbus. Remember how I said since China was dogging Boeing, and we've been seeing all the crazy stories happening with Boeing anyways, wonder who was behind some of that, probably the deep state. But Airbus, this was an Airbus aircraft that's engine caught fire, and everybody had to publicly flee for their lives. Airbus. What else does Trump put out to help make China look bad or make it look like their choice was not the right choice? What about this? This is pictures. I think Trump's like a gift from China in the Pacific Ocean. For all of you, the people out there that keep the environment clean. Yeah, this might piss you off a little bit. Now, by the way, this image obviously proves the Earth is round. Come on. Any of you flat earthers had to friggin' laugh at this. This, by the way, is truly a fisheye lens. But that was funny. I mean, come on. You got to be able to laugh at that one. You got to be able to. Anyway, we've got other pictures where things are much flatter. Obviously, it's a flat Earth here. Okay. But again, trash, nasty, gross. What the frick? What is this here in China? Ugh. So again, China, you're nasty. You're polluting. You're doing all the things that all the environmentalists need to be aware of. Wicked, right? And then on top of that, Airbus may not be the best choice. China, you might want to get some of them Boeing aircraft while you still can. Donald Trump truthed this out. This is kind of in regards to the economy right now, which, again, the market, tough day. Since our announcement of Liberation Day, many world leaders and business executives have come to me asking for relief from tariffs. It's good to see that the world knows we are serious, because we are. They must right the wrongs of decades of abuse, but it won't be easy for them. We must rebuild the wealth of our great country and create true reciprocity. But for those who want the easiest path, come to America and build an America. So, all right, we're supposed to read the capitals, right? Liberation Day, we are reciprocity. It kind of works, I guess, maybe. I don't know. We'll keep playing with that and see. It'll just be a second reading, if you will. Donald Trump truth this as well. Preemptive cuts in interest rates are being called for by many. With energy costs way down, food prices, including Biden's egg disaster, substantially lower, and most other things trending down, there is virtually no inflation. With these costs trending so nicely downward, just what I predicted they would do, there can be no inflation, but there can be a slowing of the economy unless Mr. Too Late, a major loser, lowers interest rates now. Europe has already lowered 7 times. Powell has always been too late, which is interesting here. He's got quotes. He spelled it wrong. He's missing an O, so we'll check that. I didn't think to the first time, but we'll give it a fun go while we're flying. But too late, except when it came to the election period when he lowered it in order to help sleepy Joe Biden, later Kamala, get elected. How did that work out? Not very well, obviously. So let's see if we can find a little action when it comes to missing O's. So usually you put it in brackets when it's missing. All right, 1. Enough is enough. Owls. Nighttime hawks. Interesting post. The date, 23rd of December. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. But interesting, right? Missing O. I don't know if quotes need to be involved, but that seems to be enough. Very cool. Anywho, Donald Trump truth this as well. Non-tariff cheating. So 1, currency manipulation. China is super guilty of this. 2, VATs, which act as tariffs and export as subsidies. This thing Europe does heavily to us. I think Canada's also got a value-added tax that they bake into stuff. 3, dumping below costs, so selling stuff super cheap to screw the competition. Export subsidies and other government subsidies. Protective agriculture standards. Examples, no genetically engineered corn in the EU, which we need to stop making, frankly. Protective technical standards. Japan's bowling ball test. Oh, yeah, they got to be able to drop a bowling ball on it and not damage it, yet they don't have to use the same standards to their cars. Like, you drop a bowling ball on their car, it'll damage it just like it would a Cadillac. But Japan's like, sorry, can't sell your cars here. It needs to be able to handle, because bowling balls sometimes just fly out of the sky in Japan. You've seen some of those crazy cartoon characters we got? Shit, man, they throw bowling balls, man. Gotta watch out. Watch out, people. So yeah, counterfeiting, piracy, and IP theft over $1 trillion a year. China, hello. Or any countries around their neck of the woods. Transshipping to evade tariffs, which is also what China was doing. Shipping stuff to Korea and then shipping it to us because they had a lower tariff than China. Yeah, we're hip to your ways of being square. Now, interestingly, China has created something brilliant. And it also demonstrates where we're at in the big picture. Everybody wants gold. This is some new machine that China created.
对，下一步了。
对，下一步。
You put in your gold, it assesses its purity, it then melts it down or whatever the hell, and gives you cash. Or weighs it and gives you cash, and maybe it melts it down later. So they got a vending machine that you literally can just dump your gold in, and it'll give you money back. That's interesting. It's brilliant, by the way. Bad idea. I wouldn't do it, but brilliant nonetheless. Ooh, damn. The Dow was having a little bit of a rebound, and it looks like it. Well, I don't know. It looks like it crapped back down further. Let me see. Let's refresh. Make sure this is. Yeah, it's already gotten back down further than it was. It just hadn't refreshed. Yeah, because it was under 1,000 down. Now it's 1,159 down. Gold's up $96 right now. It's at 34.24. It's never broke 3,400 before. Well, it's never broke 34.24 before. It's the highest it's ever been. It's going to continue to go up, but holy crap, it went up $96 today. That's insane. Again, I don't think now's the time, guys, but DRS likes gold. It's been good to a lot of people. Remember them if things come back to a normalcy. We're in weird times, and the Fed does got to go, right? I'm just saying, it's got to go. And right now, we see Trump kind of blaming Powell. We see gold going up. Gold's going to kill the Fed, and it will. So those of you that got in, pat yourself on the back because you're actually protecting your wealth, exactly what I said was going to happen. And the Dow is having a horrible day. NASDAQ having a horrible day. In fact, worse. So, yeah, this is, I think we are, I think, in the time where things are happening. And I think this is partially why the Pope died now. I also think why we're going to start probably getting riots coming soon to a big city near you. These are meant to distract us from the fact that Trump is taking down the Fed. Literally. They're going to blame him, maybe, but I think we're going to be able to push that blame properly where it belongs, on the Fed. Trump I think, knows exactly what he's doing. And as much as people want to say, but the stock market, we've been talking about this happening forever. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody at all. In fact, this is almost expected, and then kind of, I don't want to say nice to see because it's not, but kind of, because it means stuff's happening right now. And I think tomorrow it's going to go up, and then it'll probably go back down. Like, we're in a trend, folks. It's not, it's not good. It's not good for sure. So we'll see what continues to happen. Hey, you know what? You got to love Dems. You gotta love Democrats. They are fantastic. For whatever, this was, it's a dude from OAN asking brilliant questions about how the left is crazy. Yeah, when it comes to the way they put rallies. I don't know how that slipped out. Well, there's a company that literally it gets paid to find people that they pay to then go show up at rallies. They're paid. This dude's calling them out on TV. It's freaking awesome.
I don't know how you sleep at night. I would not do your job. I do not like it. So people can literally call your company and get a bunch of paid actors, if you will, to stand up there, hold signs, and scream on the street corner, because that's what your company does.
Because number one, it's not actors. We're providing activists who are truly engaged with the cause, right?
But are they? I just showed you a video of a guy going, I don't even know why I'm here. They got signs and they got sheets and they said, go say this and talk to cameras and hold signs.
It's challenging for them to get sufficient turnout to a lot of these events, compensating people, just like, Dan, you're compensated for hosting your program. These are your real views on this program, but you're compensated.
I am, but I don't pay my viewers to watch me. So I love the fact that I can go on the street corner and say whatever the hell I want, a grievance against my government, or call my neighbor or whatever I want, because that's America. But I don't like that companies try to stage it all and hire people and set it up. It should be organic. The American people should want to come out, get on their soapbox, my show, I'm talking. They should come out and want to gather together and say, here's the cause I'm sticking up for. But you see, guys like you and the bureaucrats and the folks in D.C. love stirring up the pot between us Americans. And so you pay people to do this, and you make a scene look bigger than it really is. You make an issue bigger than it truly is. And so I don't like your business. I'm going to end it there, but I appreciate you coming back on.
Basically, suck it. I kind of felt like that's where he was going at the end there. I don't know. Felt like it to me. I'm just saying. So, 4 House Dems travel to El Salvador despite the GOP's refusal. The GOP did not refuse Axios. You're, of course, wrong, like always. The GOP said they would not have taxpayer money funding it. They can't keep them from going. That's absolutely absurd. All these lawmakers running down there, they want to make sure they're seen. So we got Reps Robert Garcia, Democrat from California. He's not going to be able to keep his job. Maxwell Frost, Democrat from Florida. She's not going to be able to keep her job. Yasmin Ansari, Democrat from Arizona. She's not going to get to keep her job. And, another Maxine. Look at that. Maxine Dexter from Oregon, as people from Oregon say. We've got Maxine and a Maxwell. I'm sorry. Bing, bang, Maxwell, silver hammer is gone on his head. Do. Sorry. Bang, 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 Maxwell, silver hammer. Well, that's close enough. It worked for me. Anyways. Garcia and Frost had requested authorization from House Oversight. James Comer, he denied it. Again, that was to pay for it, Axios. doing a poor job of reporting, as always. Not shocking, but again, you have some facts in here that I can talk through, Axios, and use it as an example to demonstrate why you suck. So, thanks. I just really appreciate you guys. Also, interesting, illegal migrant buses were heading to the airport. They were forced to turn around after the SCOTUS made their ruling, right? So, part that was sort of funny, after Justice Alito had his scathing remarks, and they were beautiful. I read them yesterday. Judy Maldonado Rawl, whose husband was reportedly on the bus at the time, said her husband was told by a guard he was headed toward the hellhole El Salvadorian prison where Trump had previously sent more than 200 suspected gang members. She said after the buses were turned around, a guard told her husband, well, you were lucky. You were sent back because you were going to El Salvador, not Venezuela. So they're not going back to their home. Venezuelans are all, oh, they're going to kill me if I go back to Venezuela. It's like, well, you're not going back to Venezuela, so don't worry about it. You're going back to Cali. Cali. You're going back to Cali. Man, I don't think so. Few of you got that. Hopefully a bunch of you. Maryland Democrat says advocating Abrego Garcia is necessary to protect black people. Of course, right? Of course. Obviously, all the illegal people from countries where they're typically known as brown, not black, whatever. Typically, those people are going back to their brown land, but that is exactly the same thing as African Americans, because right after generations of being here and being citizens, unlike these brown people, and again, I don't have a problem with brown people, but just, I don't know why blacks are jumping in on this train, but whatever. I thought there was a difference. That's all. Got to be colorblind, trying, but whatever. Okay. They seem to have gotten colored with the different crayons, all I'm saying. That said, they feel like I assume that we're going to go after black people and put them on planes and fly them back to Africa, I assume. That makes lots of sense. And granted, this is Joy What's-Her-Face on MSNBC. Obviously, a network that's not going to exist much longer either. Who knows? Donald Trump says radical lunatic Democrats and their comrades in the fake news media are falsely making Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia out to be a very sweet and innocent person, which is total, blatant, and dangerous lie. Garcia has been found by 2 separate courts to be a member of a violent killer gang, MS-13, was in our country illegally, and is under a deportation order. It is despicable and un-American for liberals and the mainstream media to hate our country so much and be obsessed with protecting criminals instead of working to keep our border, streets, and families safe. Those lying to the American people on behalf of violent criminals have to be held responsible by the agencies and the courts. Make America great again. Very key part in here. Those lying. So anybody that's on the news or not actually in the congressional thing, like Schiff, what he kept doing when he was actually standing up at the podium in Congress and speaking and lying, that's legal. When you do it as a Congress member outside of Congress, you're now held to liable and other laws when you speak, especially when you speak as a Congress member. So some of these protections that they're used to having, especially when the deep state was in charge, don't exist anymore. So Trump's calling it out. Those lying to the people on behalf of the violent criminals. They're saying a judge says he's not MS-13. Well, Trump is saying 2 judges disagree. So 2 different cases, 2 different judges disagree. Now, Fox News actually did a surprising job kind of rolling through all this. So Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an illegal immigrant, alleged ties to violent gang, deported to El Salvador, has been transferred from the country's most notorious mega prison, literally was transferred out, the Centro de Confinamiento del Torrísimo. I can't say all that. CCOT's much easier. I don't know. I'd have to practice saying those 5 words over and over. Days before U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen, Maryland, arrived there last week. So, of course, Van Hollen told reporters that this guy shouldn't be there, yada, yada, yada. Now, he found out and was told, Abrego Garcia, that Van Hollen actually 8 days prior. Now, the news stories typically coming out, Axios and all them, they're like days before, which makes it sound like it was 2-3 days, right? It was 8 days before. One could say a week plus, but that would be doing the opposite thing they said when they said days, right? But a week before, I'm still giving him 1 day. A week before, he was transferred out of CCOT into a place called Centro Industrial. It's in Santa Ana, and it's about 8 days prior. So Van Hollen called President Trump, writing, "When you defy court orders and deny one man his constitutional rights, you threaten them for all." Well, that's actually not true. That's an untrue statement. And he's saying it as a senator. That could be illegal. Now, again, he also went to another country, which some say is illegal as well. I don't know if is that Logan or is that the Farah? I think it's Farah, right? He's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed to make deals for the government on our behalf. He's not allowed to do that. It's against the law. So this dude has broken the law in a few different ways. Now, what they can prove and stick, we'll see. So he continues and talks about how Trump's lying, right? No evidence linking Abrego Garcia MS-13 to any terrorist activity. Got two judges. He needs to put up or shut up in court, he continued to say. So we have one of the court orders was like, you guys got to give us updates on what's going on with this dude. All right, so we got that. I, Michael G. Kosak, pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1746, declare under penalty of perjury as follows. Please refer to my prior declaration for information about my position and the foundation of my knowledge of the relevant facts. Abrego Garcia versus Nome. This is, of course, that case. Said concerning the physical location and custodial status of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, I am able to provide a partial update. With reference to the recent visit of Senator Chris Van Hollen to El Salvador, our embassy reported that Abrego Garcia told Senator Van Hollen on April 17th that he had been transferred from CCOT to the detention facility Centro Industrial in Santa Ana about 8 days prior. Abrego Garcia told Senator Van Hollen that he had been placed in the administrative building of Centro Industrial in a room of his own with a bed and furniture, and that he was not in a cell. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Basically being kind of a dick, but legally providing information. And I mean he's being a dick in that he didn't find this out. He had heard via what this senator, senator was talking about, Mr. Van Hollen. He's just sharing what was public knowledge. The judge is going to hate that. Now, again, the U.S. Supreme Court. We talked about it yesterday. I just want to close out the last part that our boy Alito wrote. And it's true. And he's basically telling Trump, look, you better follow this, but I've got your back to a degree. Well, as much as he can. So he said, in sum, literally in the middle of the night, the court issued unprecedented and legally questionable relief without giving the lower court a chance to rule, without hearing from the opposing party, within 8 hours of receiving the application, with dubious factual support for its order, and without providing any explanation for its order, Alito wrote. I refuse to join the court's order because we had no good reason to think that, under the circumstances, issuing an order at midnight was necessary or appropriate. Both the executive and the judicial have an obligation to follow the law. The executive must proceed under the terms of the order, and this court should follow established procedures. He gave a big, hearty punch right in the testicular area of Roberts. Now, this is a funny little change of things, and might work. El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, you guys probably heard of him, he's offered to swap 252 Venezuelans deported to his country for political prisoners held by Venezuela. You see, Venezuela has some El Salvador's people, political prisoners likely, maybe involved in riots or protests even, who knows, right? But he's like, look, I want to give you a bunch of your people. Can you give me back a bunch of my people in exchange? Now, when our government here wants to go back to El Salvador to check on their best buddy, this MS-13 gang member, they're going to find he's likely not there anymore. Granted, he's not in Secot. He's in this other place in Santa Ana, but he's likely going to be heading back home to Venezuela. Venezuela's a communist country. Venezuela's got all sorts of issues with trying to bring their people here. Now, Biden had no problem with it. Cubans, Venezuelans, he loved sending communists here. It just brought him great joy. But Trump's not. And so once they're in Venezuela, it's a done deal. The left is screwed. The Democrats are screwed. There's nothing they can do. Again, the Pope dying right now, there's a lot of things going on that look really, really bad for the Democrats. Rep. Jamie Raskin threatened foreign leaders who facilitated authoritarianism in our country by currying favor with President Trump on issues like deportation, saying that Democrats will not look kindly on his supporters when they come back to power. So now we've got people not in power within Congress threatening foreign leaders with reciprocity because they're actually working with our current president. That's got to be stepping close to treason as well. Now, you can be upset with what Trump's doing, but literally to tell presidents of foreign lands that you're going to punish them, I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Again, do we start getting into FARA or things along those lines, or even the Logan Act at that point? I think when you're not supposed to, well, that I think has more to do with when you're campaigning. But referencing El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele specifically, Raskin suggested that Dems should keep score of foreign leaders who brown-nosed Trump 78 during his second term. We didn't actually try to destroy any opportunities that Biden was doing. We hated what he was doing, and when he broke the law and the Constitution, we were able to stop that a few times, handful of times. Nothing like what we're experiencing now, of course, which, again, this was expected, well, at least to many of us. So implicit in it should be the idea that if and when we come back to power, and we will, he says, matey. I think he followed up with that and his little bird started talking. He goes, we are not going to look kindly upon people who facilitated authoritarianism in our country. Yeah. But anyway, this dude's going to be lucky if he doesn't end up in jail before his chance to run for re-election. Mr. Raskin, matey. Especially if we can get some fair elections. I don't think a lot of these guys are ever going to get elected back into office as well. The Root Brand's great company, great products. I've been really, really enjoying this sculpt. It actually seems to be working. I don't know. I was having an issue. Not really. I mean, I drink too much, right? I'll be honest. So, I don't know, 7 pounds higher than I really wanted to be. But I was kind of like staying there, right? This seemed like it was helping. It was like just shaving off a little bit without me changing anything. Worked out as much, drinking as much, like nothing changed. This was actually helping me slowly reduce. I probably lost, I don't know, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds over 4 or 5 days, which is kind of a healthy weight loss for me because I'm barely overweight. So this is working well. And what Sculpt is supposed to do is it actually affects the way the body kind of processes sugar, which is good if you're also trying to stay in ketosis, but also from the standpoint of alcohol, that's usually what alcohol is kind of processed as is sugar. So I found the Sculpt product is actually working really, really well. Relive Greens, if you like making smoothies, because it's this weird powder and you can't just eat it. I wish it was in a pill. I swear to God, I would buy the hell out of this stuff. I actually have some, and I don't make smoothies. It's really not friendly for my lifestyle, unfortunately. Sculpt is what I'm talking about here. Clean slate, amazing product. This actually helps remove heavy metals and other metals from your body. A few drops on your tongue twice a day, and trust me, you're going to notice. It's like if you eat asparagus, you notice at some point of the day. Same thing, you'll notice. They also have some cool coffee that's got some healthy things. Give Me Back My Youth is another. It's got collagen and all this great stuff. It's a powder, though. So it's another one of those. I'm telling you, if you make smoothies on a regular basis, which is a great idea, I just don't. If you do, This, give me back my youth. Collagen, you're getting it in your body. It's a very good source of collagen. It's actually really good. Relive Greens, definitely throw a scoop of that in there, and then whatever else you're putting in there. But Relive Greens has like all the greens, all the vegetables and fruits, like, and it's like, you know, down into a powder somehow. It is incredible. It'll turn your drink green, that's for sure. They've got Crush, which is another one of those amino acid things, but you need to put that in a smoothie or a shake. So if you're one of the gentlemen out there, or ladies, that likes to do protein shakes and stuff, you totally want to throw some of that Crush in there. It's got all the extra aminos that I'm sure your protein drink has as well, but good sources, and you're going to be getting all those aminos. It's going to help your recovery times, help your working out, help your bulking up. A lot of those things are all happening at the same time, so really, really cool. And again, back to the Relive Greens. If we go to Shop All, there's just a few other products that they do that are super well. They do stuff for the skin really, really well. I don't know. They do a genetic test. I would never check that. I wouldn't recommend a genetic test for anybody. I don't care what you're trying to find out. I don't recommend it. Zero In, I love. This gives you energy. It helps me focus. It's just great. It's got a little bit of caffeine, but it's got a bunch of other stuff in there, and literally just helps you stay focused, gives you energy, just helps the overall. If you're going to be going out and you've had a long day, pop a couple of these, and you're going to be able to fall asleep. It's not like caffeine. It's a little bit of caffeine in there. I want to say less than 25 milligrams or around there, but it's got other stuff. It really, really works, helps get you pumped up, and it gives you the ability to control it much easier when you want to do it. And you can take 1, 2, 3 of them, and you notice a difference the more you take. I have never had an issue. I think 2's the most I've ever taken. I wasn't like freaking out or anything. Granted, none of the cats in the neighborhood will visit me anymore. Just kidding. But yeah, it's great. It works really well. Restore is another good one. Working out, supports bone health, supports healthy gut biome, high blood pressure. It helps with that. It's got antioxidants, anti-inflammatory benefits. It's just a really good product. Again, they have a lot of really, really good stuff. Great ingredients, really good for you. Natural barrier support. It's about your immune system, right? I think that's probably a powder too. I don't know if those are pills or not. Yeah, it looks like it's just a powder. So yeah, they've got some really good stuff. Immune Shield. This stuff too, the Clean Spirits, is literally for drinking. That's kind of one of the reasons I like this company, is they're okay with the fact that I get my drink on. But this was where I was trying to get to. The peptide cleaner, the peptide serum, and this lotion stuff. They're anti-aging, facelift, whatever. There's a few of them. Their lotions for when it comes to like tightening up the skin are extraordinary. I think this is the one I used here, the peptide moisturizer. It was amazing. It worked really well. I'm just really bad about doing it, but I recently told you guys I want to get some so I can do like just the bags. My right under my eyes look friggin' horrible. I figure, hell, if that helps a little bit, then maybe there's a chance for me. I don't know how this facelift crap works, so again, I'm a dude. I'm not good at selling this crap, but it's really good. You ladies, check it out. All the ingredients that are in there, really, really good stuff. So please check it out. Go to The Root Brands, ROOT. therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. That's therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. Check out some great products and see about making yourself healthier, because again, that's kind of a big part of what I am about and what I try to push, and products I'm taking as well. It's all about it. We're aging, folks, right? Got to try to help that. We don't have the best food in this country. Hopefully when that changes, we won't need all this stuff. Texas politician Bobby Mitchell fighting for her life after a knife attack at her home that left her husband dead. She's a Texas GOP politician. It was her grandson that killed her husband. And fortunately, it sounds like the Republican Bobby Mitchell was stabbed in her Louisville home. No, it's Louisville. So she's okay. Her husband, Fred, was killed in the same attack. 23-year-old grandson, Mitchell Blake Reinacker, was shockingly arrested for the crime. One's got to wonder, because this is a GOP politician, and the grandchild just stabbed their grandparents. Don't know why. One would possibly have to assume something triggered him, or they were trying to get him to do something properly, whatever. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's bag got stolen from her. Secret Service basically looked at the cameras, figured out who took it. It was an individual wearing a mask. They stole it. Again, this is what Democrats are all about. They had a bunch of ID and all sorts of stuff. Individual is being looked out for. I guarantee if he tries to use any of the products, any of the, even the badge to try to get into a building, he will almost immediately be arrested, unquestionably. If he tries to use the bank card on a gas pump, it'll let him. And I guarantee you he will have someone at that gas pump within less than probably a few minutes. He's not going to get away with this. And they can obviously cancel stuff. I think they're going to leave some of the things going just to see the thief try to use them. It'd be interesting to see if he's just an idiot. Some punk that just thought they could get away with this, recognized her and said, I'm going to steal her bag. Or if it was done intentionally with the hopes of getting access to things. It'd be interesting to see what happens. And likely we'll probably hear about it, I would almost think. We'll see. Norway's prime minister is going to meet U.S. President Trump on Thursday. He is coming here. This is Norway. I believe, aren't they the ones that own Greenland? I thought that was kind of weird. Interesting. Obviously, because of the tariffs and stuff like that, that's why he's coming. I'm sure they're not going to talk about anything else at all. But yeah, I want to know more about the whole Greenland thing. That's going to happen. I understand that. I want to understand how it can happen and why it's okay in a weird way. Like, I can't wait to see how that plays out. Because no one's being like, you can't, there's no way, hell, we'd go to war with you. No, nobody's really saying that. Everyone's like, he's joking, right? And they're like, no, I don't think he is. That's pretty much it. That's where they're at. I don't know. Kind of strange. Trump administration denies draft executive order outlining State Department's changes. So this was another leak, probably intentional. A document proposes eliminating non-essential embassies and consulates in sub-Saharan Africa. The State Department said the document was fake. Period. End of story. But NBC and others were running with it like it was accurate, according to sources and things along those lines. Document supposedly detailed all sorts of stuff. And it's funny how this entire article, like they've got the truth baked into the top, and then they're like, but here's all the stuff it said. Anyway, it's like, yeah, but it's all fake, right? So why don't, well, here's a bunch of fake crap it said, and here's some more fake stuff it said, and this was fake too. Like, no, they don't do it like that. They still act like it has some legitimacy. I find it to be fascinating. Fascinating, I say. Hegseth said to have shared attack details in his second Signal chat. Defense Secretary being called out on this. Just again, it's according to multiple sources, alleged sources. And that's the best part, is it's multiple sources. I guarantee you, Pete Hegseth does not have multiple sources in his inner circle. He just buffed out one of his people in his inner circle. I guarantee he's got no one in his inner circle that's leaking this. But what is very interesting, and what's being brought to our attention, I think for good reasons. I don't know if it was this article or the next one. Yes, here. Sean Parnell brought this up. For immediate release for 2025, this was yesterday. Statement. Another day, another old story. Back from the dead. Trump-hating media continues to be obsessed with destroying anyone committed to President Trump's agenda. This time, the New York Times and all other fake news that repeat their garbage are enthusiastically taking the grievances of disgruntled former employees as the sole source for their article. They relied only on the words of people who were fired this week and appeared to have a motive to sabotage the secretary and the president's agenda. There was no classified information in any Signal chat, no matter how many ways they try to write the story. What is true, is that the Office of the Secretary of Defense is continuing to become stronger and more efficient in executing President Trump's agenda. We've already achieved so much for the American warfighter, and we'll never back down. So obviously that's important to point out. And it's also interesting to point out. Here it is. Yeah, cool. I was afraid I didn't have it. New York Times reports Hegseth allegedly shared Yemen strike details, including F-18 Hornet schedules, in a private Signal chat with his wife, brother, and lawyer. 4 anonymous sources cited. How many people just got fired? 4. Pentagon IG is investigating. Who is the chairman of the board of Signal? Yeah, that's right. The chick who's in charge of NPR. She's the CEO of NPR and is currently the chair of the board of Signal. It's entirely possible Signal may be looking at things too on the back end. They would certainly have the ability to do that. Something to think about. We obviously know Catherine Mayer, the leftist NPR CEO, can't be trusted and obviously hates the government because NPR just lost all their funding. Uh-oh. We're dialing in on these people, folks. Donald Trump truthed this out. Hopefully Russia and Ukraine will make a deal this week. Both will then start to do big business with the United States of America, which is thriving and makes a fortune. Very good. And for all the people, that guy, Nick, thank you. Right? This one was super easy to read, right? All capital letters. I didn't have to worry about it at all. That was simple. I know how to read this one. That's basic. Israel cancels visas for French lawmakers. Visa? Yeah, just had to kind of say it douchey, and it makes it more Frenchy sounding. Whatever the case is, I'm not trying to be mean to the French per se, but they're not. Diplomatic tensions after President Emmanuel Macron said France would soon recognize a Palestinian state. So, yeah, Macron kind of pissed off Israel. Now they've had everybody expelled. That's how that works. Okay, this bugged me a lot because I like just the news a lot, but this pissed me off. This article pissed me off. It seems to be incorrect, and I also think it's very misleading. Very misleading. So we're going to start with the headline because this is what most people read only anyway. Service members may lose jobs after religious exemptions for flu vax denied. Fought COVID mandate. So we've got service members that are going to lose their job. And then, like the first sentence, it's ironic that one of the individuals instrumental in the COVID vaccine mandate fight is now, a couple of years later, facing elimination from the Marines over the flu vaccine. 2 service members have been denied religious exemptions to the flu vaccine and are at risk of being forced out of the military after they previously fought the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Right? So far, everything you're reading makes it sound like Trump's being a dick right now, doesn't it? Or Hegseth or whoever. Right? Well, when you dig into the story, Marine First Lieutenant Schuler Skipper, who has served in the military for 15 years, submitted an RAR, which is the religious request, a religious accommodation request. They submitted an RAR for the flu and tetanus diphtheria shot in December of 2022. 2022, December. It was denied in March of 2023, according to the report, Misconduct Review of Just the News. He appealed the denial, and following month, and his appeal was denied in February of 2024. So far, we're not even close to Trump's presidency. Not even close. We're a year off almost. Next month, Skipper was ordered to take the vaccines with 10 working days. He filed a complaint with the headquarters of Marines. They said basically they skipped his extension request, was denied in April of 2024. Still, Trump's not president. Last month, I guess, Skipper was recommended for separation from the Marine Corps and is a non-deployable status due to his refusal to obtain required vaccinations. All of the requests happened during the Biden administration. I wonder why he's not trying to bring this to the attention of, say, Pete Hegseth. Maybe this is, and maybe this is how he's doing it. But I find this article sort of is misleading in that it kind of promotes this concept that somehow Trump's letting this happen, or somehow his fault. Now, this is 2 individuals that are having similar issues. Again, messed up, but seems like there's other ways to handle this now that we've got a new commander-in-chief, a new secretary, a lot of things. And so why couldn't they figure out how to spin this back up? I don't know, whatever the case is. I don't like the way Just the News I feel like they spin this in a weird direction. It bothered me a little bit. I don't know if they re-edited it or something. It still seems a little bit in the wrong direction, but whatever. Hopefully they can keep them. Walgreens agrees to pay up to $350 million for illegally filing unlawful opioid prescriptions and then submitting false claims to the federal government. They literally were creating false prescriptions, saying they were administrating them, and then asking Medicaid to reimburse them for things they never did. They were literally just stealing money. This is some of the stuff that's going to be found. This is stuff they've been getting away with it forever. This is part of how the game's played. I'm sure they knew about it, but the deep state doesn't care, do they? Again, it's a pharmacy. No, not happening anymore. We're putting a stop to all that nonsense. Trump administration irate at Harvard. Plans to pull additional $1 billion in funding. They're actually talking about removing their funding for, health-related studies? Yeah, health research. pulling an additional $1 billion because of this war that's going on. I'm sure Harvard's going to have to sue again, but Harvard, you guys are screwed. And yeah, you're done as an institution, because you're obviously going to hold true to all this. People aren't going to care about the name. They're going to care about the fact that they can go to other schools, get better educations, cheaper, and actually get prestigious jobs within the government because they're not going to Harvard. Harvard's crashing, and it should. It's a deep state college. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, right? Skull and Bones, what are they, Yale? Is that where that one's at? That one's probably going to be another one that we haven't heard from yet, but I'm sure that's on the list as well. Just some interesting facts for people out there that may not know this. So estimating the number of people who go missing worldwide each year is challenging due to inconsistent data collection. However, various statistics provide insight into the issue. The United States. Approximately 600,000 people are reported missing annually, with a significant number found within days. Around 2,300 individuals are reported missing daily, and about 70% are located within 48 to 72 hours. That's okay, not bad, right? So about 30% of them aren't making it, so that's about 60, 70 people almost aren't being found a day. India, an alarming rate of 88 individuals go missing every hour, totaling about 2,130 daily and about 64,851 a month. United Kingdom, around 180,000 people are reported missing each year, but this figure may underestimate the actual number, as 353,000 missing person files are opened annually. Mexico. Over 100,000 people were reported missing between 2020 and 2022, with many cases linked to organized crime. Global estimates. Some sources suggest that around 8 million children go missing worldwide each year, highlighting the scale of the problem. These figures reflect a complex issue influenced by various factors, including population size, law enforcement efficiency, and societal conditions, and probably location to nefarious things as well. So kind of an interesting bit of statistic there. And the final story that'll eventually open up at some point here in the not too distant future. So this is Ye coming out. Now, if you got kids present or anything, this is definitely not appropriate, but it is something that Ye posted. And I think this is a lot of people coming clean, certainly with the things that maybe have been held over their head as well for years. I'll tell people, if you don't do what I need you to do. So I think Ye's been trying to get himself out from a lot of that. And, you know, sometimes owning up to the things that we've experienced that we're not proud of is one of the easiest ways to do that. And so that's what Ye does. And he admits to something that many are going to have a hard time with. So again, if you have a sensitive stomach or whatever, maybe don't listen to this. But this song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty mags when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14. So yeah, people are wondering, why is he saying this now? I think a lot of it's because of what's happening, and I think he wants to be on the right side of this rather than where a lot of people are going to end up. Just want to remind you guys of a great product for your animals, your pets, and it is Pet Club 247. Pet Club 247, really great products that help get this mushroom inside of your pets. Coriolus versicolor, it's a mushroom that enhances the immune system. There's a number of cases where they've seen cancers and helped even in people, for that matter. And there is a people tab, believe it or not, when you go to shop. But we've seen it happen in animals as well. Coriolus versicolor is shown through a bunch of different studies. One, it's almost impossible to get too much of. I say almost just from that no one's been able to OD on it yet. It's essentially just the mushrooms. Like if you were eating a bunch of, not magic mushrooms, but just like, regular shiitakes or something like that. Like you're not gonna OD on eating shiitake mushrooms. Interestingly though, Coriolus versicolor, unlike shiitakes, actually has major immune benefits. Majorly. Helps with cancer, helps with for dogs and cats, helps with their skin, helps with their fur, helps with their digestive systems, just helps It's got this wonderful ability to really make a big difference. It also makes a huge difference. They got a tab for horses, and they've also got a tab for people. So good things to consider. Humans, like I said, Baby Trump on my channel a few years ago, and he was talking about going through this process, and he took just gobs of this stuff. There's pills you can do for humans, different ones, but you're able to get large quantities of this in your body. It can actually play a huge role. I also do recommend the wellness companies, the Parasite Cleanse. Highly recommend that. So that's twc.health/OTF. twc.health/OTF. This is kind of a better long-term sort of approach, I think, than trying to get the 90-day and paying huge gobs of money, because it is pretty expensive. These are not. For dogs, the easiest way to go is the mush puppies. There's a couple different ways. It's basically a cookie that gets them eating that on a regular basis. That's the same thing as you taking a few pills every day. Boom, you're in it. If you've got bigger concerns with your dogs or cats, there's special sauce that you can add to their food. Got it for both dogs and cats. Mojo's is a treat that cats tend to like. Dogs do too. So if you're someone that's got a mixed household, if you will, Mojo's are possibly a good way to go for you. Also for horses, they've got mush ponies. And you can buy those in a number of different buying ways. You know, obviously, if you've got a bunch of horses, it makes sense to get larger quantities. So they've got the abilities to do that and make sure that your four-legged creatures, no matter which size they are, have the ability to help keep themselves healthy. And again, here's a lot of the pills that the people are taking. They've also got these gummies. The gummies are actually really, really good. I finished the gummies. I want to get some more of them, especially the twin pack. You save some money doing that. Not a bad deal. So go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Make that healthy choice for you, your pets, your loved ones. Frankly, it'll help keep them around longer. And that, in my opinion, is the only thing that sucks about dogs. They don't live long enough. Not even close. Still kind of crushed from when I had to put down my little girl. Miss her. danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Make those choices. Make yourself healthy. Make your pets healthy. And you will definitely be happy you did. A lot happening. People are noticing. People are figuring it out. People are starting to see that the left is really messed up in the head and starting to make adjustments in the way we're living. Things are changing, folks. The system is having a hard time. Let's actually look just while I'm done. Oh, fuck, it's down 1,200 now. Good God. Gold's up 102. Dude, that's insanity. Yeah. Things are happening. It's now a war of who we're going to blame. Ultimately, we're all going to have to help with the ripples. The media is going to make Trump out the blame, and we're obviously going to blame the Fed. And we're going to win in the end. No question about it. But yeah, the Fed is blowing it, and the economy's freaking out. And Trump's actually fixing the tariff stuff and actually helping our trade. So that really should be helping a lot more than it seems to be. So again, the system is experiencing problems and needs to adjust. I think we need to get the Fed out, frankly. So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm telling you, we're doing this together, guys. Shoulder to shoulder. We're going to make a difference and change this world. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.